Here we'll just look at some ways that the animation can be used in Form Z for special effects. Let's say we want a car driving down the road. Well, simply just draw a spline path using the Animate Along Path tool. Click on the object, click on the path. Click play and you can see that the object animates along the path with a linear velocity. If we want to change that, let's say we want the car to sort of stop at the intersection, and we'll simply scrub the timeline, see right about there somewhere. And if you look in the animation editor palette, you can see that the object goes from 0 to 100% along the path. I can add additional keyframes here and modify the transition through that keyframe. So in a sense, we're modifying the velocity. So we can actually set it to 0 right there, then have it increase from that position. One other nice thing about animating objects along a path is we can also edit the path. So we can not only edit the velocity, but also change the path that the object goes. So what I can do is just grab those controls. This is just a normal spline curve, just like any other object in Form Z. And we can just simply move those controls around to have our car do an illegal U-turn. Now, of course, it's probably not a good idea to do that because if you zoom in a little closer here, we can see that we actually do have a no U-turn sign. Let's look at some other things here. For example, the handicap markings and the no parking areas and the crosswalks. All these street markings can be done really easily in Form Z. For example, we create a white surface tile that has a misty transparency to that and just draw the shape that you want. So for example, I can actually draw right on the surface of that street. And you can see I'm just creating a polygon shape here. And let's say we want to make this a one-way road. So I'll draw an arrow just like that. I can place text, type in the text string that we want, and I'll leave that flat as a 2D surface object. And when we render the scene, it'll actually render as street markings on top of that surface that's there. For the last part of our demonstration, we'll show one more special effect of animating the sails and the flags blowing in the breeze. There's a circular wave deformation tool. Just set the height and width to the values that you want. Click on the object and it creates a static deformation of that shape. Now we can also animate those parameters over time, just like we did with the radial bend with the wall. Just keyframe that, and now we can just simply take all these objects and drag and drop those into that same circular wave animation track. So you don't have to animate each of these objects one by one. You create the one track, drop as many objects as you want into that track to create that same circular wave animation for all those objects. This concludes the Seaside Amphitheater project, which was used to highlight some of the different ways that animation is used in Form Z.